This is a good place to start because it's two waveforms. In fact, most of them are.
In this style?
I'd say to get a more interesting bass, yeah. Like 9 times out of 10, you're always going to have that simple sub sine wave or square wave, like filtered off. So it's pretty much almost a sub anyway. It's going to be your backbone for any bass. So this has got sub oscillator. Sometimes you might use 2 oscillators, but one you're just treating as a sub oscillator and the other one's there for a bit of decoration. But this is 2 sine waves that are like the levels are a little bit adjusted. But yeah, the key here is detuning them. One is plus 30 cents, one's minus 30 cents. This one, for now, we can just put it at 0.
Oh, that's mad how you've done 2 unisons as well.
Yeah. So yeah, they're both spread like not equally because we've got these, so they're in different positions here, but they are backed up by that sub sine wave, and that sub sine wave doesn't necessarily have to be in Serum. That could be somewhere else in the project, on a different track or whatever. But for this, it makes sense because we're going to then push into some effects. They're all bypassed at the moment now. Okay, without the sub. So in itself, that could work as a bass. What I'm going to do is actually, instead of like talking through it, build it up from scratch. Some of these techniques will definitely be useful. So basic shapes on both, just to get a sine wave. Okay, and then one is going to be minus 30. Okay, so we're already getting that kind of beating. The clicking, I think if we bring down the random and just do some attack and release. Okay, so you hear that the way they're beating against one another. We've got your steady sine wave and then introducing that. Starts getting like beating against against each other. So then that's where that unison thing comes in, is we can kind of play around with how detuned they are. And yeah, doing that, you're always going to run into that thing that you said about different notes creating different waveforms. So saturation, distortion, compression, limiting all help with that, just further down the line to like stabilize the sound. But then yeah, the sub as well.
Sick.
It's interesting to look at. So just to see how the waveform changes when I introduce this second oscillator, and we get that beating. So that could come down an octave, maybe.
Yeah, the 2 are almost slightly fighting, but that's what creates the wobbleness, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's, again, the beating off of the waveforms against each other. And then, yeah, you could add some chorus, maybe. Yeah, just nice. Just that.
I quite like it driven, actually. Quite like it driven. You almost quite high as well. Do at that point, stick it in a bit crusher.
So that's a good thing to bring up there, because that was a characteristic of that sound in the reference.
Yeah.
What do we have in Serum that's can bit crush?
Down sound.
Sample.
Because it creates that overturn. There you go. Nice. I like a more buzzy sound like that, yeah.
So that's sine waves. This is saw waves. So obviously a little bit like grittier in terms of characteristic. So in it. Yeah, obviously saw waves are very buzzy. what gave us the detune previously was the like fine tuning them and then actually doing like stereo spread. Here is a different technique. This works with square waves as well, but we can do two identical. I'm just going to turn it down a bit because it'll start a bit loud. Yeah, drop these down an octave to start. And then when I start to, I'm just going to put mono and a bit of portamento because there's a glide note. Okay, so then, yeah, when I adjust the fine tune, and again, when the different notes that are playing gives a different relationship between that beating. But that is the core for a lot of good bass sounds. And yeah, possibly a little bit of like reverb, delay, kind of sparkle. Obviously, a bit of saturation. But yeah, that in itself would go a long way.
Okay.
So yeah, in that scenario, there's no stereo spread at all, but you do get the feeling of that. You get the feeling of movement, and you could just kind of take that a step further and go and put your like chorus or hyper on or whatever. But at this point, just be careful to not make the sound too wide. So we talked about it in the master where you were like, do you want to do like mid-side processing? And yeah, we only need to do that if it's definitely necessary. What's its face? Ozone Imager is helpful for this as well.
What's the side information there? The green.
The red is the side information.
How do you know?
Because of the way I've set it up. Yeah, I should have maybe explained that earlier. But we've got this underlay thing mid side. Stereo is red. So when I bring this in, you'll see. And then if we take these above 50% mix, we'll see that going the side above.
Do you know what? If you wanted side
like even at this stage, where with them over 50%, they're not going above the mid signal. So that's your key, really. With bass, you probably don't want it that close. But yeah, as long as you're not making them wide, the side channels wider than a lot or more dominant than the mids, it should translate okay because you can always just tuck that in, like you say, with an EQ afterwards.